Most cleaning business owners grind month after month just to add a couple extra jobs per week. So adding an extra $5,000 per week seems pretty unrealistic, right? Well, it's not, and one of our clients actually just unlocked this with one small strategic shift. And in this video, I'm going to uncover exactly what this new strategy is, so you can start implementing it into your own marketing and generating more revenue. So I'll be explaining why you need to stop being stingy with your marketing budgets, the one small change in our advertising that nearly doubled our lead flow, and future plans to keep growing the revenue in her business. So here's screenshots of our client mentioning how she's booked approximately $5,000 in new job value, and another one explaining how she wants to turn off the ad because her teams are all booked for the rest of the month, which I think is pretty cool. Now, getting 10 to 15 new client bookings per week doesn't just happen by accident, and it certainly doesn't happen without marketing effectively. And that leads me into point number one, which is to stop being stingy with your marketing spend. So I always hear the question, what should I spend per month on marketing? And when you're starting out, this can really be a catch-22. On one hand, you want to be fairly conservative and not just blow through your budget on advertising that doesn't work. On the other hand, you don't want to be advertising on a shoestring budget and not giving any of the platforms enough data and momentum, and therefore always operating out of a place of scarcity and pulling the plug too early. This is the lifelong battle. I'm sure you've had these exact same thoughts. But as a general rule of thumb, I typically recommend a minimum of $1,000 a month when you're testing an advertising platform. And that's really on the low end. Yes, we do have some clients that are a little bit below this, let's say $20 a day, but we have to be extremely careful with those client accounts because our margin for error is so small. And because we have a lot of experience testing winning angles, formats, and offers and all of that kind of thing, we pretty much know it works. But that's really the irony with small budgets, is it actually takes more skill to operate a small budget and get returns. But I digress. Let's go back to Lindsay. Just over 1 year ago, we were spending on that low end of $25 to maybe $30 a day, probably averaging somewhere between 10 to 14 leads per week. And maybe out of those leads, 4 or so would actually turn into bookings. Now, from a conversion standpoint, that's actually a decent benchmark, but you're not going to be able to scale with those numbers. In fact, this was one of the main desires that I got from Lindsay is, she would say, hey, I recently brought on some new girls that are amazing and I really want to retain them and give them some work as quickly as possible. What can we do to get more bookings coming in? And the answer simply was to just increase marketing spend. We already had an idea of what her conversion rates looked like. We had that proof of concept. We know her retention was good. So we just needed to up the lead flow. And as soon as we increased the advertising budget, that's when the floodgates opened. One, we could test more at once, meaning we could find new ad videos, new images, new messaging, and find winning concepts more quickly. Two, we could run multiple ads simultaneously, which created a more omnipresent approach within her market. And then three, more conversions per week. So that signals to the advertising platforms that this is good data and they could optimize on our campaigns and basically, keep generating more leads for us. But along the way, we stumbled upon one key differentiator that doubled the lead flow and made people much more likely to book and just really shorten that sales cycle. And that is the power of seasonality marketing. So seasonal marketing is really cool because it allows you to tap into that consumer behavior like nothing else. People's buying behaviors tend to be higher around the holidays, and you can create real urgency with your offer if you tie it to that holiday or season that's approaching. So in our case, Thanksgiving's approaching. So we capitalize on that. We honed in on all the typical problems a homeowner might face when it comes to Thanksgiving, such as the stress from hosting, needing the kitchen to be absolutely neat and tidy, wanting their bathrooms to be immaculate for when guests come over, and then crafted specific solutions to each one of these pain points. And once we compiled our ad and, ran this for a couple weeks, the feedback was so great. And that's when I really realized the power of leveraging seasonality marketing. So holidays give you an excuse to package your cleaning differently. So you better capitalize on it. And I created a little formula/acronym that you guys can use to help with this process. So I call it the SAVE formula. So first off is specific problem. Is it the stress of hosting? Is it the messy kitchen? Is it the guests coming over? List as many of these as you can. And then when you're creating your ad, I would choose at least 1 to 3 of them to really hone in on with your messaging. Then A is going to be angle. So I like to think of this as really just the sexy name that you give to your offer. So in our case, we used Thanksgiving Deluxe Cleaning, which is really just a deep clean with a better name to it. Now the V is going to be value stack. So somewhere in your ad, you want to list out exactly what the homeowner gets when they book with your service. So this is a good opportunity to, yes, talk about the specific points of their home that are going to be touched, but also what are the benefits that they get, such as more free time, less stress, less arguing with their spouse, things like that. And then lastly, expiration. So this is where you have some type of urgency and ideally scarcity as well. So it's a good idea to put a deadline or just use the holiday as the deadline so people know once the holiday passes, the offer's ending. So that was the framework for the advertisement. Now, we tested a video and image ad simultaneously. And the video was just a basic time-lapse cleaning video with some text. And then we also launched an image, which was just a very plain background with text overlay that listed exactly what the name of the offer was, followed by the things that were included. And here's what we found. The text overlay ad killed it. Again, we just put our deep clean with a sexy name to it, listed out everything that would be handled in the cleaning, stuff that, is probably pretty obvious for you watching if you operate a cleaning company, but to the typical consumer, it sounds attractive. And this is great news for all of you that consider yourselves creatively challenged. The text-based ad, you can create this just within a couple minutes on, Canva or something like that. So moving on, future plans. So moving forward, we're going to run with a hybrid seasonality campaign split. So meaning, at any given time, 50% of our budget is going to go towards the next holiday or season approaching. And then again, package the cleaning service in a sexy name, maybe including something for free or some type of dollar amount off if we really want to maximize the amount of leads that we get. But we can always use that in the background to create some real urgency. And then the other 50% of the budget will go towards our more evergreen advertisements. So these are ads that essentially run indefinitely and have more broader language to them. So again, like get your weekends back, stop cleaning your kid's mess, things like that can apply year round. And the thing that I really like about this approach is that any time we start getting overbooked for the month, maybe we're understaffed, whatever, we could always turn the seasonality based one off or just reduce the budget overall. But this gives us a lot of flexibility with our lead flow, which I really like. Now also, now that we've essentially tripled our budget from what we were spending before, we're going to keep the budgets high from now on. Look, everyone starts with a conservative budget for the most part, but if you really want to scale, you have to increase it. Now, I think one of the main reasons why a lot of cleaning business owners struggle to increase their budgets is not because they don't have the money, but rather they're scared that with the additional spends, they're not going to see a correlated increase in ROI from that additional spend. And frankly, this is a valid concern. If you haven't been advertising for a while and you don't have at least a few winning concepts, you will struggle to maintain results, let alone scale. Now, you can have the perfect seasonal offer, the perfect landing page, the perfect video ads with proven hooks and messaging and all of that, and still lose money. And most cleaning companies don't even realize this silent killer that sabotages everything. If you want your ads to scale profitably, you need to understand this. Check out this video I made that explains exactly what this thing is and why it flies under the radar and sabotages cleaning businesses.